Filmmakers of a documentary premised on the July 2021 riots have expressed happiness with how far South Africa has come. Titled The Unrest, the documentary premiered in Sandton. It takes a closer look at the economic impact the chaos in KwaZulu-Natal as well as parts of Gauteng created, especially on small businesses. Newzroom Afrika's Katleho Sekhotho has more.
We've just watched the film premiere of the documentary The Unrest, which reflects on the 2021 July unrest that we saw almost 2 years ago in this month of July. And the impact of that unrest can still be felt 2 years later after almost 350 people's lives were lost and a number of businesses had to close down and billions rands worth of claims had to be made after businesses had their infrastructure damaged, as well as a lot of them losing their goods. But I have with me from SASRIA, Ms. Mantuka, just to speak to me about the financial impact that the unrest had on SASRIA. Ma, thank you so much for affording us some of your time. Can you just briefly outline what impact the July unrest had on SASRIA, considering the number of claims people were making at the time?
Thank you very much. The July unrest had a huge impact on ourselves. SASRIA had always expected that there will be unrest at some stage. However, we did not expect the magnitude in which it was. Usually we get claims of about 3,000, but just the July unrest had about 6,000 claims coming through. You would imagine the amount of money that we had to pay and the amount of the frequency of paying those claims, or the frequency of the claims that came into. They were quite huge. At the moment, we are estimating that the claims are worth 32 billion. We have actually managed to pay about 97% of that. But we had to seek help from our shareholder, which is the government, and they came in quite handy because we wouldn't have managed to pay for all those claims had they not come in and chipped in at the time we needed them.
And Ma, in terms of government's response at the time, did it come in as speedily as you wanted, for example, from Treasury? When you say to them, look, as SASRIA, we're in trouble, too many claims are coming in at once, was it a speedy response from them?
One would say there was speedy response in the sense that SASRIA has always been financially strong, and we have always been able to give the shareholder some dividend. So when we went back to them to request for money, they were not hesitant. They were sympathetic about our situation and gave us money. Obviously, we didn't ask for money first before we used our own money. We did ask them, and the response was quite positive, and one must thank them for thinking about situations like the ones that we're confronted with.
There you heard it from Mantuka Maisela, the chairperson of the Remuneration Committee at SASRIA, reflecting on the impact that the July 2021 unrest had on small businesses, especially in the townships, and how difficult it was for many to recover, but that there's been a lesson learned in that communities who, in the final days of the destruction, stood up and protected businesses, and therefore protecting livelihoods and protecting people within the community who are supported by the businesses around them. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Katleho in Sandton.